President Trump is still telling NFL sideline protesters they're wrong. He tweeted minutes ago that kneeling has nothing to do with race. It's about respect for our country flag and national anthem. NFL players joined pregame protests yesterday from London to Los Angeles. It was a response to the president saying players should be fired for kneeling during the anthem. The demonstrations started last year to protest police brutality and racism.
Many teams locked arms in a show of unity. More than 200 players knelt or sat during the anthem. Only 6 players protested a week ago before the president's comments. Super Bowl MVP Tom Brady was one of those locking arms yesterday and spoke about the president's comments in a radio interview.
I certainly disagree with, what he said and thought it was just divisive and like I said, I just want to support my teammates.
CBS News special correspondent James Brown is host of the NFL Today on CBS. He joins us now from Washington. JB, good morning.
Charlie, good morning to you, Norah and Gayle.
Tell us what you saw as you watched and what you thought as you watched this weekend.
What I saw was an example of togetherness. I mean, football is the ultimate team sport, so I saw owners, the commissioner, NFLPA director, and players all in unison, not necessarily agreeing with the method that some of the players are taking, but certainly an effort to hear what they're saying, Charlie, and that it is not anti-flag. It is more pro the issues that have been well documented and long-standing and trying to find a solution together.
And I think, James, that's what's concerning a lot of people, that they're missing the message about how this originally started, that it didn't start as a campaign against the country or patriotism.
Gayle, not at all. Again, we talked about the kind of issues that are systemic, that are long-standing and well documented in communities of color, especially in terms of racial inequality. And these players, by the way, Gayle, aren't just making a statement. Most of these players have been actively engaged in trying to improve the fabric of those communities with their actions and with their dollars. So certainly they're to be commended in that regard.
Well, this started with Colin Kaepernick over a year ago, and many people didn't support him at that time publicly. Why do you think now is different after President Trump's words?
Well, I think, and I have yet to talk to Colin Kaepernick, so let me be clear about that. But from what he said before in the early days of this in 2016, is that he wanted to raise the level of awareness and try to engage civil dialogue amongst not a homogenous group of people, inclusive and diverse, to try to deal with the problems. And unfortunately, through all of the rancor and vitriol that's been spewed out since then, at least it's now in the public consciousness, and people are having conversations across different strata, if you will, to try to find out what the solution is.
Some fans say they appreciate the players' right to protest, but that it shouldn't come during the national anthem. What do you make of that?
You know, Norah, and I truly, completely understand how many people only see the flag and what it stands for and think that it is an affront to those in law enforcement and military. It's not anti any of those things. It's more pro what the issues are. And I think to the degree, the old expression, can we reason together, sit down to hear one another? And that's what we're seeing when we look at people like Arthur Blank, ownership like Arthur Blank, like Stephen Ross with the Miami Dolphins, Pete Carroll, the coach of the Seattle Seahawks. They are at least engaged in dialogue. They're hearing the players to be supportive. Look, the old expression, you can agree to disagree without being disagreeable, is the manner in which they're going about it, Norah.
Where's Colin Kaepernick in a year later?
A year later, still from a visible standpoint, unemployed as far as the NFL is concerned, and that's another hold issue. But Charlie, one thing I have to give him credit for, even though I might choose a different course of action myself, the fact of the matter is he's committed. He's put his money where his mouth is, nearly $1 million to community efforts to be a bridge builder, and he's personally been out there doing it. So he's not just someone sitting up, living comfortably off of his money and talking about an issue. He's out there on the front lines and he's involved.
Thanks, JB.
Many people would still like to see him play again. Thank you very much, James Brown.
Thank you, guys.